I'll hit go live. All right, that was a song called Ancient Tool Gadget by Buke Gase from their new album with So Percussion called A Record of ... You got to include the ellipsis. Aaron and Aaron, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I really appreciate it.
Hi, Anthony. Thanks for having us.
Yes, of course.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much. This album is awesome. I was telling Aaron earlier before we started that I played it for my kids who are huge fans of the album Scholars. I mean, like, they put it on Spotify all the time. They were dancing around the house to it and everything. And so I was thinking, I wonder how they're going to respond to this. I didn't tell them anything. I just started playing it in the car. And my daughter goes, "Who is this? This is weird." But I want to say this album is really awesome. I've only given it 2 or 3 listens so far, but really great work. And congratulations on releasing it.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, technically it's not just by us. It's also by So Percussion.
Yeah, and I think that's what's cool about it. It's very clearly a collaborative effort, and it's differentiating itself from your other work. And so I'd like to hear more about how this album came about, especially in terms of composition and arrangement, because I was stunned at how much polyrhythmic stuff is going on. There's some pretty complex stuff happening that is clearly not improvisational, stuff that's coming from a different place.
Aaron, you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, well, a lot of, like, from the So Percussion side, they brought things that they had written out, and they're very technical, and, I think each member brought different things to the table that they had worked on individually, and then some of it they worked on as a group, or specifically for this project, but yeah, they came to the table with like sheet music, and we don't work that way. We totally work improvising and recording. So it was interesting for us. We learned a lot through that process of like combining these two different work processes, where they needed a lot of structure and just notes written up in front of them, partially because it was so complicated what they were doing. There's so many polyrhythms and different time signature changes and things like that. And then we bringing our just like feel-based approach to it, meshing with that workflow was interesting.
Yeah, so I really loved it as someone who I featured a lot of fairly complex music on the site. And I say complex not because it's a term I brag about. It's partially what makes the music not as appealing to people like my wife. And I love very interesting rhythm. I love the use of polyrhythms. I feel like as someone who has studied music just on my own and listened to a lot of music as art, looking for music as art, this album really bridges this kind of interesting gap where Buke Gase's music historically is so driven by improvisation, and you can tell like it's a very organic process. Meanwhile, the So Percussion stuff is not so organic, but it's really beautiful and amazing and orchestrated and all of that. So I found this album really fascinating to listen to as a musician for that very reason. And I'm curious if did you guys have to do back and forths on songwriting, or did you submit like, here are some song structures that we want to play with, or did they bring their own compositional ideas that you responded to? Can you talk a little more about that?
Yes.
Cool.
So they brought a bunch of them brought, all four of them brought a piece. I think one of them brought two pieces, and Aaron, you brought something. This is the threat. This is a threat.
Yeah.
Right.
We should also say this whole project started because of a request to collaborate with So Percussion for this festival in New York called Ecstatic Music Festival. So we were given this prompt to work with each other and figure out what to do for this live performance that happened. When was that? 2014?
Oh man, we were doing this yesterday, and
yeah. So it was like we had met So Percussion through our travels and talked about working together, and then this festival occurred, and we were asked to work together. So the process was, Aaron, you can continue.
No, 2014. Anyways, the process was, we basically shared, I guess we shared MIDI versions or demos with each other, and then we took whatever they had and we just listened to it, had some thoughts. We had some extra material of improvs that we smashed in there as well. I think on Ancient Tool Gadget, was that one of them that had it, or was it? Oh God, they all kind of, I can't decipher.
I can't remember. They're all mixed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like some of them were like, they would have a composition, and then we would just bring in a part or an idea that we had from one of our improvs or something, and then just mash them together. Yeah. So that's why some of the tunes kind of like take a right-hand turn sometimes into this weird bridge and then come back. Yeah. And so it's kind of like you're going from So Percussion world to Buke Gase world and back and forth.
Yeah, and sometimes it melds really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree. It seems very organic. And I think for a fresh listener who may never have experienced your music, they wouldn't know the difference. It feels like it is a very natural fit. I just love the creativity on this album. And it sounds like the material is years old. Have you been working on it for that amount of time? Or is it, is that recent? Aaron, did you misspeak?
Maybe, I don't know. No. I mean, we've definitely been wanting to put this out for a long time. we had yeah, created the music and then didn't record it for a long time. But then we were asked to record it by fans.
Another thing I
Well,
love.
we actually did record it a while ago. It was,
Yeah,
I think the session was 2015, actually.
really.
And,
Well,
then it
but-
just took us a while to get it all together and mix it and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense because there's some. Perhaps it's when you're listening, and as somebody who writes and records his own music, and I've produced other albums for some friends, you hear certain sounds, and it's like, oh, that's like the same exact sound from this other song, you know, and it felt like you might have pulled out some of the old Buke Gase settings, but perhaps not. Perhaps they were current at the time of recording. So that's interesting to hear. I love the sound of the record too. It's very snappy and poppy. Do you have a lot of creative control over the mixing and the production of the album? Do you guys talk about that and request it?
Well,
We mix it.
Aaron
Oh, you
and I
mix it too.
We did the mixing, yeah, which is maybe why it took a while. Because meantime we were working on Scholars and other projects and things, so this kind of like we would fit this in the cracks of our schedule. But yeah, we did all the mixing. We did a lot of production stuff. We did some creative moves in the mixing process that shifted some of the compositions a little bit from their actual performance. So there's like fun sonic things that happen every once in a while that we kind of like added later. Eric from So Percussion, he did some production work on one of the tunes. He kind of made one more of a, I don't know, made it more dancey or something, kind of like more 4-in-the-4 in post-production.
Well, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
I love how it turned out. It is a very dancey album, but there are also some songs that are maybe a little tougher, like Get Down. I think that's the name of it. Yeah, Get Down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was
That
wondering.
was one of our pieces.
Yeah. So can you talk a little about, on this album, there's so many songs with So Percussion, there's some songs without, and, you know, how'd you select those songs?
How did we select those songs?
Well, those are, I think the ones that we added that are just us are,
Yeah.
those are things that were not used on Scholar. And then we wanted to fill out this record a little bit more. So we added those.
Yep. It was really just a matter of like, well, this kind of fits in this world and doesn't really fit in the Buke Gase world otherwise. And Scholars was already long enough. And like, yeah, there's this work that we've been doing that's like kind of slower, darker, moodier, and yeah, it just didn't really fit. Maybe it was more orchestral, like Sleepwalk, which gets into this choral thing. It's a left turn in a way, but we make all kinds of music, so we wanted it to go somewhere, and I think that this album was, yeah, it fits. Like that one goes right into diazepam, in my opinion.
Yeah, I could see that. And for me, I don't know if it's because I've been doing more YouTube over the years or what, but I was listening to the album in my car alone last night, going to pick up my kids from my mom's house. And I was literally out loud going, oh my goodness, you've got to be kidding me. There are several surprises on this album, and I was like, am I just becoming that like YouTube ham guy on the camera, or is this like a legit reaction? I feel like the album is really surprising, and I don't know, do you get a sense of that when you're writing and recording? Like when you get to the final mix, you feel like, oh wow, that was really unexpected. I want to hear a little bit about how you get through to the finish line.
There's still stuff that is surprising to me. I guess, and Hold It In. Right? There's these like the I mean, they seem like breaks now, but those would be considered a chorus. In the original composition, it sounded really different. It felt different, and then the way that we mixed it, just it took away an entire drum set from the recording, and we just focused on this one drum rhythm that was unexpected and solid. It was just like we wanted to hear that part, and then we like worked everything else kind of around that, but it still surprises me when I hear it. Maybe it's because we've been playing that music in this particular way for so long, but I mean, I enjoy that. I enjoy the jolting surprises on occasion. That's the kind of music I like to listen to sometimes.
Fantastic. So this one of the songs that made me feel that way is Spinach. And I thought we could listen to that because the last minute of it perhaps is, I just found it really surprising, like kind of shocking. And I don't know why, but I looked at my phone and I was like, I got to play this tomorrow on the interview. So let's take a listen. All right.
I'm gonna mute.
Wow. Just unbelievable. What a song. Can you just provide some of your initial reactions on that track?
That's what you get when you have a percussion quartet get together with us. I don't know. That's what happened. I mean, God, they're like monsters at the, what is that, the vibraphone?
I know, right?
I don't even know what the instrument's
two,
called.
I think they're playing two vibraphones, right?
Two vibraphones. Yeah.
Two player. But actually, now I remember that I think that was the first thing we did, that we actually added to the pool of stuff, and I think we made most of that in Ableton, just like writing out MIDI notes.
Oh yeah, that's
So
right.
this was like the way we usually work, and I think we were like, oh, we have to like do something really complicated, or like, you know, with notes that we could give them. So we actually like wrote MIDI parts in Ableton, and I think we were just like screwing around, and that's what we came up with.
And they played it.
And then they played it, and I think we created the vibraphone parts for them, just in Ableton.
Right.
And then they wrote it out.
Like offset it, and then they like wrote it out, and then they played it. I just think it's insane that they played
it. Yeah. Have you guys performed?
So they're so talented.
Have you performed this live in the same room? I mean, it sounds like it was mostly recorded separately. Like that's the impression I'm getting from the discussion, but.
No, not at all. The actual recording session was we were all in the same room. And there was bleed over all the mics, which ended up not being the smartest choice, but it mattered, which is cool. And we have performed this live a number of times in different settings.
Right. Actually, that drum bleed is the reason why we had to remove a drum part from, I think it was Hold It In.
Right.
We just couldn't mix it.
We couldn't totally remove it because
right. No. Yeah.
So speaking of removing, I think that's one of the most difficult aspects of being creative. There's that saying, murder your darlings. It's a little crude, but I wanted to hear a little more about your creative process. How do you know when to cut, and how do you know when to add? I love the layering of your music, the way you guys build up a track. It's orchestrated into something that it becomes almost cacophonous and almost like it's just about to go out of control, but you always keep it in control. So could you talk a little about that?
Well, I suppose when we start fighting too much, there's probably a reason, and so then we have to remove something. No, it's like when you're writing a song, when you're writing music, you're very conscious of everything that's going into it, and it's almost like you need to just cut through the weeds in order to see the flowers, right? And you can very easily tell when there's too many weeds.
That's where I feel like it's hard to, you start falling in love with some of the weeds,
Oh yeah. Yeah, and then they grow bigger, and you allow them to grow bigger. I don't know, like, yeah, those are the happy accidents or that come along with improvisational creation. Right, there's so much stuff that wouldn't exist if we didn't fuck up. But
we're kind of limited because of our instrumentation, and because we're only two people, that we I don't even know that we think that way, of like taking away or adding a lot of control that way.
right,
because we're always like, it's like we have our instruments, and it's either we're not playing or we're.
Well, it definitely comes through when we're mixing and when we're producing, like after improvising, especially the way that we've been working lately, which is just improvising into the box and like getting all of our settings the way that we want them to be for mixing easily, and then it's just easier to bring something else in or remove something that didn't fit or in some way or another. Cut the fat, trim the fat. Never mind. I was going to say something else.
You're welcome to.
No, because
I think we're getting better at taking away.
What was that?
We're getting better at taking away.
I think we're getting better at removing over time. I think in the earlier part of our career, we were it was like everything all the time because we were trying to like sound bigger.
Right,
so we were just kind of like keep adding and keep adding and keep adding. but it doesn't always serve you.
Right. And it's funny, when I first heard your music, my friend Ron, who's like a super fan, whose brother lives in Hudson, New York, um, and he said to me, "You got to listen to this band." And I listened to. He played me Houdini Crush and a couple other songs, and I was like, "This is unbelievable." And he goes, "Yeah, it's only two people." I was like, "Oh, wow, that's cool," you know. And then I saw a video, and I didn't realize what he meant. All of this sound coming from two people at the same time, like you guys. I cannot believe the independence and the coordination, and especially watching some of the live performances from scholars, how you've added so much to your musical arsenal. Building your own instruments is something that your name is all about, but then adding software on top of that. And I'm curious, just when you're approaching a composition, are you thinking like you mentioned software and settings and those kinds of things? Is that part of your orchestration? Do you have to write down, like, okay, in this song we're gonna, switch to this, change these parameters, to you set the values, this dial needs to be 160, that kind of stuff.
Maybe not so much when
Yeah.
we're writing.
Yeah, it's usually later because we've still, like, all of our records to date have been, I mean, our records, not necessarily this question, but it's all the music has come out of improv. So we just sit down in a room and we just improvise for hours and record all of it. And Scholars was a record where it's like 100% that, where we kept the improv recordings. So that the album is made up of the actual original performances as we were improvising. Then we go back and edit things, we chop things up and, make it more of a piece if it needs to be. But in the improv process, we developed software that we can, as we're playing, we call up different sounds. Like it might be different, like found sounds or samples. Like I have like a folder of samples that I just, like, recordings from my iPhone from traveling or different places. I'll just record stuff. And those things will just, like, I can hit a button on my pedal board and it'll call up a sample randomly and introduce it into what we're playing. So it might be my kick drum that triggers it. So as we're playing, a sample will come in and then it'll influence what we're doing. And we'll be like, oh, this is weird, what's going on here? And then it'll like force us into a new area or a new space or a new groove. And all of that is recorded as we're improvising. So afterwards, I know that I can find that sample later. And then, when we're going to organize how we're going to play this for a live concert, I can find those things and organize them and put them into the Ableton session that we're going to use for the performance, and then, and tweak the settings and get it all right and stuff.
So it's a lot of reverse engineering, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. Same with the lyrics too.
Yeah.
Because it's all, yeah, like we improvise everything, the vocals are improvised, and I'm not necessarily saying words all the time, but then I go back afterwards, after we've recorded it, and try to decipher what the hell it is and what the point is of the song, and then it's like, oh, sometimes it turns out to be a complete surprise what the song's about, that it actually makes sense.
Yeah, do you feel that it's like a subconscious process for you where whatever it is you're voicing, there is a purpose to it, or there is a theme that connects, one garbled line to another?
Oh yeah, very much so. Like I'll be like, I'll go to a song that we had improvised like months ago or something, and just be like, that's actually what was happening. That's so crazy. Why? Why is that what I was talking about? That doesn't make any sense, but it does. Yeah. But then even, like we do a lot of post-production that's like adding synths in different places because it sounds fun, or maybe it needs something. And that's really fun. That's like the fun part of our writing process, I think.
So you guys have a Bandcamp website, and the URL is at the bottom of the screen. You two can't see it, but the people watching the stream can. It's Buke and Gase. Oh yes, hello live stream. It's bukeandgase.bandcamp.com. And when they visit your Bandcamp page, what are they going to see? There's a Scholars Alliance in addition to the music stuff. So can you talk about Scholars Alliance?
I'm going to go look.
Yeah, we're like, wait, what do you see when you?
Yeah, maybe we should have Alec talk about that.
Yeah, no, I go there every once in a while, but they'll see like that you can subscribe to us and you'll see some videos of us talking about things that we should probably be keeping up on, like just delivering snippets of how we work. I try to keep in touch. I'm very bad at it. I really apologize to the subscribers who expect more from us. I just don't have that brain.
But yeah, I think there's different levels to the subscription, and
Yeah.
you get different things. Like we release little things every once in a while, and you can get vinyl copies. You can get little gifts from us. There's different things that can happen on the subscription.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so for people on the live stream or anyone watching this after we're done live streaming, if you go to the Bandcamp page, consider signing up for the Scholars Alliance. It's a direct funding mechanism for the band. And you're seeing a lot more of this on Bandcamp. And one thing that interested me about talking to you is the financial model, because Aaron did this hysterical video maybe a year
I
ago.
have those checks.
Yeah, can you talk about that?
Them. Yeah, we keep getting these like checks of like 2 cents or 93 cents from different streaming things, and like we don't deposit them because what are you gonna do with 2 cents? I don't know where it went. I think I put them somewhere else. But just ridiculous.
Probably
It's like,
burn.
thank you so much for listening. And also, it's really not sustainable to do it through Spotify or Pandora or Amazon or iTunes or Tidal or what are the other ones? Like there's
Apple Music,
YouTube.
yeah.
YouTube. I know a lot of kids these days listen to music through YouTube, and it is so great that they're listening to music and probably engaging by like typing in the thing, oh, I love this, or like this is my favorite song, or what the hell is that person wearing? That's okay, that's great, but it also is super unsustainable. And who the hell is getting all the money from Spotify? Not the artists. Not the artists.
That's right.
Unless you're like in the top tier, which is what, maybe, I don't know, let's say 100 people. Even if it's 100 people who are making a whole bunch of money, it's actually, oh my God, am I going to say this right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that Spotify works on a pool basis, right? So every listen, every time you listen to an artist like us, that goes into like, that amount goes into a pool, which is then dispersed to basically the top 10% of grossing artists. To make that more sense, we don't get that money. They do. And it's not even like...
Kind of like how the country works.
God damn it. Fuck. Throw my coffee.
So yeah, if you're not aware and you're a Spotify subscriber, and I don't fault anyone for being a Spotify subscriber, I am, but it is not the way to support artists. It's a great tool, if you want to listen to music and you want to have like a zillion songs accessible at any time. Yeah, you can pay for any of these streaming services, but for people who are not aware, I think it's 2/3 of your monthly budget, your monthly pay goes to Spotify or the company itself. And I think all of the artists that get listened to in a month split the other third. It's somewhere between 1/3 and 1/2. So when you're streaming, consider buying music, especially from independent artists like Buke Gase, and buy multiple copies. I've got the Scholars CD, I've got the Scholars vinyl. I've
Oh,
got,
you're so sweet.
oh,
Thank you.
that's great. You buy CDs and give it to people. That's how I got turned on to you. My friend Ron, like I mentioned, he bought me, I forget the name of the album for some reason, but
General Dome?
yes, he bought me General Dome. And that's how I got into it. And we need to keep great artists alive and fed. And 2-cent checks from Amazon and 93-cent checks from Spotify are not going to do it. And as much as
Actually, I gotta correct it. It was 93 cents, I think, from Pandora.
oh, okay. Well, thank you, Pandora listeners. All right,
Yeah,
so
I mean, especially these days because we're not performing, and really touring and performing is where kind of the only place to make income.
Uh, it's been really tough. And like not only that, but just as a performer, I thrive on audience interaction and human interaction. It's been rough. And I know from, talking with a lot of other musician friends, it's been a really tough time. And live stream performances online, that just doesn't do it. It just leaves me, I'll speak from my perspective, feeling icky because I can't hear it directly. It's like I have to read after
right.
after the fact and like, no, that was great. I think I maybe touched someone today. I mean, I'm talking emotionally here, guys. Okay. Yeah, it's a tough world.
But there were a couple thousand people who might have been paying attention, who might have been fully dressed even while listening to your live concert. So
Nah. Nah.
No, we all know how 2020 went. No pants.
Yeah. Yep. No pants.
All right,
No
so
pants 2020.
let's take a listen to, let's see, maybe you mentioned Hold It In.
Uh-huh.
Tempted to put that on. It's a little over 5 minutes. Or This Threat, or Wake for Yourself.
Aaron?
This threat, maybe?
All
Yeah,
right.
do This Threat.
All right, let's do it. Wow. I love that track. I'm so glad you suggested it.
I love that one too. It's weird.
The,
Eerie.
the drums and stuff are going all over the place, all around it.
Yeah.
Do you know specifically what is happening? Do you think about that at all? Like, oh, this guy is doing...
Yes.
You do?
Well, I know, I mean, I'm familiar with the pattern.
Yeah, tell us about the pattern, because it seems fairly random, I think, to most ears.
I don't think I'd be able to actually describe it. I just know it from listening and know what it does when it happens. And I'm like, oh yeah, now it's basically, you know, adding and subtracting. That's my description of it. Word.
There's a bass line I wrote out for something else. It wasn't even a Buke Gase thing. And so I brought that in. And that's the So Percussion guys wrote the drum part around it. Is that what happened?
Yeah, with some suggestions by someone, I'm pretty sure, but just saying, yeah.
and then you wrote a melody over it.
Yeah.
Well, props to the suggester and the melody. I mean, what an achievement singing. I love when you do those super high notes. I just think it's super cool, especially with the vibraphone or whatever playing along. It sounds awesome. Do you have to work on those super high notes? Like, do you have to warm up? My wife's a singer and she starts doing this siren thing before she sings. You know, how do you do that?
I mean, I probably should do that. I'm supposed to do that. It definitely ruined my voice earlier in 2020.
Oh.
Not doing that, and I had to go through physical therapy for my voice, and now I'm much better.
Ooh.
But yeah, it's really important to warm up for that kind of stuff. And my voice has changed as time has gone on. Some of those higher notes I can't quite do anymore, just because I'm a mature woman. And otherwise, I mean, it just it does, again, happen mostly in improvisation. So if I can do it when I'm improvising, I can redo it.
That's really cool.
Simple as that.
We do have several questions that have come in from the live stream.
Oh.
Thought we could do a little lightning round.
Let's go through it.
Let's do it. All right. We got a pre-order. Which is great. Thank you, Robert Wright Stasco. So Brassland provided the first couple of questions. Thank you, Alec. Are you more happy with these pieces as recordings or as pieces for live performance?
I like them as recordings. I think they're pretty badass as recordings. I would love to try to perform them like this, but I don't know how it's gonna happen.
I think we did several improvements to the composition in the post-production process. So there's some of those moves we should, if we play this live with So Percussion at some point in the future when we can, to bring in some of those elements, I think, to the live.
Well, I would love to hear it live. I don't think I could sponsor a show where everyone flies out to Phoenix, but I would love to see something happen. I might fly out there to see something happen too, so that would be great. Brassland also asked, if we didn't miss you talking about this earlier, can you discuss the different approach to counting between the two groups?
Yeah, Aaron and I do this. And start, and then they but they don't really do it like that. They're not like that. They're much more subtle, but they do count off. That's it. That's the approach to counting. Also, holy crap, when you're in the middle of a song, they can pick up from wherever in a song because they see it.
Right.
They see it and they're on the paper, and we have to have kind of a little pickup. We need a soft entry in order to pick up in the middle of a song.
Robert Wright Stasco asks, what are some of the specific polyrhythms used in Spinach?
Oh, shit. Shoot, that was the first song you played, right?
Yeah, no, the first was...
Right. I mean, that's like a 3/4, 3/4. Ding, 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 ding. I can't describe
I
it
guess it's a
anymore.
report.
Yeah.
There you go, Robert. There's your answer. Just listen to the tapping on the table and the singing.
Yeah, yeah, I can figure it out. I'm sure you're smarty.
Neil
Robert
Forker.
should tell us.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said he should tell us.
Yeah.
Is this like a trick question? Is he testing you?
Probably.
An evil fan who wants to embarrass you on a stream?
It's not going to live up to the technical side.
Neil
Next
Forker
question.
says, Riposte is one of my favorite albums. When looking back at that record, do you hear things you would revisit and turn on their head? My favorite track is Revel in Contempt. Okay, so the question is, anything to revisit and turn on their head?
And turn on their head. Like how we would mess with a tune that we've already written and to make it something that we would enjoy playing these days.
I assume so.
I mean, God, what are the songs on that song? I mean, sure. Can we just say yeah?
Yes, that's fine.
Is that the right answer? Do I win?
I mean, it would be fun to play them, try to play them differently. We've never done that.
It's true. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Like play them like half speed. We do that sometimes though. We'll like try to play like your face left before you. We'll try
Yeah,
to play it as fast as we can.
When we're messing around with each other in rehearsal, like especially when we were doing that with Hiccup and we were slowing it way down and then real speeding it back up. Yeah. But then when you do that, when you speed it down, I have to start singing higher, like a and look. We try to sound like a broken record or like a wavering tempo, but like everything has to change. Yeah, no, but that's just for
But
fun.
like when we the songs, they're so composed at this point. I mean, like we create the music through improv, but we're really just playing. We play them exactly the same every time.
Desperately.
We move around, you know, in our feel of it and stuff, but they're so composed that we never even think to like change the composition. We're just trying to perform it as best as possible that we can. And like tempo is something that we can play with, so we do that sometimes. But.
Right. Yeah, and oftentimes I forget the lyrics if we don't play it the right way. Like it's just so specific to the composition. I think also we've definitely hung on to those compositions in a desperate way. I've been thinking that word a lot lately. like we're just trying to hold on.
You mean in life in general?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. But definitely like performing that music, it's challenging. We look at other bands that have like 4 members and we're like, what would that be like? If I could just like walk away from the microphone and like do a solo. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you
jealous.
Have kids, but my friends, they'll say, oh, we just had our kid and I'm not sleeping and having a kid is the hardest thing. And I've got 3 and I'm like, can you imagine only having one? You know, I say to my wife, can you imagine just having one kid? That's kind of how it probably is with your music. Like, can you imagine just playing like in a normal band? You know, you just have one instrument and you can stop playing and no one notices.
Well, you know,
focus on one idea.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff that we've been doing lately involves no instrument playing.
Really?
Yeah, it's just basically Aaron doing amazing production and then me singing on it. And I'm like, I'm not a diva. I can't do that. I'm not going to bend over backwards and like do all these awesome moves. I have to like end up making fun of myself in order to do it.
I don't know. You sound pretty excited about it when you use the terms like looking awesome.
Yeah, well, they look awesome, but I don't know if I'm doing that. It just feels wrong for me. It's like me wearing high heels. It just doesn't feel right. Or makeup or whatever. It's incorrect.
So you've been holding on, you've been hiding behind your instruments then.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? It's like
Yeah.
it's like talking with a coffee.
Yeah, how many man, it's such a comfort for people who play instruments that are tactile, it's like, "Oh, this isn't me. This is the instrument." I'm expressing myself through the instrument, but then you take the instrument away and it's like, "Wait, what am I supposed to do?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Do you guys pray for mistakes during your improvisation? Like, do you really hope something goes wrong? Just curious about that.
no. I think in improvisation, I'm just trying to make something that sounds like something. Like oftentimes I I probably give Aaron so much side eye during improvisation. I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing over there? What is it? And then it turns out that that's really awesome. Pray for
Yeah,
it? No, we just try to survive.
improv is all mistakes. That is the point.
Yeah.
We're just like playing mistakes till it sounds good.
Yeah.
I like that, actually. I think that's a really cool idea. I find when I'm improvising, it's that thing that goes wrong that takes you in a different direction. And it distracts you from the thing you think you're trying to do. So, as improvisers, I was curious if you have an approach for starting. Do you bring seeds with you, or do you just start totally fresh? When you have a mistake, do you exploit it? Do you go for it, or do you listen later and go, "Oh, that was cool. We should explore that more"?
I think that if there is a mistake and we both kind of notice it, or maybe not even if we both notice it, it's slightly independent, but it's also just this other organism, like that comes out of the two of us working together. It will, if it's the mistake that's meant to be there, it'll happen again.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like I say it's all mistakes. It's actually none of it is mistakes. Like, there are no mistakes in the improv.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point.
It's
right?
Anybody's.
And I think the reason we use that as a compositional tool, improvisation as a compositional tool, is to get out of our own heads, because we learned early on, we tried to make music together, bring ideas and stuff, and it was just a big fight. It was just egos clashing, and like you get attached to a thing, the other person doesn't like it, then it feels like it's an attack on your aesthetics, and you just have this like going back and forth of like being frustrated with not getting exactly what you think you want to hear. And with the improv, you just have no control over that, and it's just about creating something that you didn't come up with. Basically, neither of us are writing the music. It's what's being created is the outcome of us in the same room together, trying to make some sounds that are cool, and it's usually stuff we would never think of on our own.
The musician, the musician Trey Gunn from King Crimson, and he's done a lot of other projects. He and I had a conversation about improvisation, and he said it's like mathematicians and physicists. They don't create the equations. The music is already there. It just gets discovered. Just like a mathematician finds the equation. And I'm curious, do you feel like you're digging for something, or do you feel like you're creating something?
Maybe both. Digging. I would say more digging. or just removing. Because it's like Aaron says, it's like like with us, we really do it. The best outcome is that we remove ourselves and come up with this. Like it's just out of our control entirely, because we are both very opinionated and very strong-headed and have visions, right? Or vision. We have vision, and sometimes they don't match up, and it's best if we just remove ourselves entirely from the process.
Real quick, we got
and then it's fun like later. Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's fun like after we've done that process of improvising, then it's a matter of us being like archaeologists and like going back, finding what was there, you know, and then it's almost like being a cover band of ourselves, and we have to go and learn how to do that again,
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
live thing.
We got a couple recent questions. There's Heidi Heidelberg, who is from Berlin. I just discovered her Instagram, and oh my goodness, she's doing like these amazing improvisations every day. Radical idea per day or something like that. Anyway, check her out on Instagram, just for anyone on the stream. But Heidi Heidelberg asks, do you guys have a routine or a way of developing your shared musical language?
With each other
I assume so.
or with other people? I mean, do we even think about it anymore? Shared
routine.
musical. Wait, can you say the question again? Where is that?
It's like six comments up. Do you guys have a routine or a way of developing your shared musical language? So is there maybe
Oh,
some
I see.
ceremony that you do or anything that gets you in a mindset? Or have you identified specific ways of communicating with each other musically?
We do 5 chest bumps and then turn around. No.
I really wanted to hear where that was going.
No, maybe we'll share whiskey on occasion.
Whiskey is good to share, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's just in the improvisational process that we learn. I don't know, but we've Karen and I have known each other for years. We've been through like several different music, and we just like, I don't know, like we don't even have to talk about
Right.
stuff much. We just kind of like dive in.
Alec Latorte asks, would you be up to being produced by someone else? If yes, who would you think would work?
Remember when we were really into Chad Blake?
Mhm.
We really wanted Chad Blake to produce us. That would
But
be
he doesn't
fun.
really produce any.
No.
He did mix a song for us once.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
Who would we want? I would love that.
Oh, I mean, how about oh shoot. Well, Thundercat.
Thundercat would be cool with you too.
Oh,
Sure.
All right, cool. So thank you so much for spending an hour of your day with us. I really appreciate you exploring this amazing music that you and So Percussion have released. For anyone who is watching, please go to the URL bukeandgase.bandcamp.com. You can pick up the new record with So Percussion. It's called A Record Of, and it's fantastic. Oh, you have a physical copy.
I do. It's right here. Look, here's the back of it.
It's beautiful.
Mine's brown.
Yeah, how'd you get? Is that going to be the normal color of the vinyl? Is it all going to be brown?
No, it's the leftovers of other people who get like the special colors specifically that they want. This is like the dregs. So this is a recycled. It's like a
I think they-
recycled material.
They mix the different inks, right? And I think
Well, it's all the
sometimes they
leftover
come out
inks. Yeah.
different colors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like don't you have a nice purple one? Mine's brown. Yours
I think
is
mine-
purple.
Purple.
Some kind of like, mixed up color.
Yeah, I actually I bought the CD, but there's only 100 of those being printed, and now I regret not buying the vinyl. So I think I know what I'll be asking for my birthday. But yeah, buy the new record. It is awesome. You've heard a few tracks here. We're gonna play one more before we go. Check out the Scholars Alliance, which is the way that you can support Buke and Gase directly with an annual membership subscription. And if you don't want to do that, at least buy their music. You can buy digital copies on Bandcamp. Bandcamp allows unlimited streaming for anything that you purchase. So if you like streaming, you can stream anything you want off their website for free. And if you buy it, you can stream it more than 3 times. So check out Bandcamp. They're also doing Bandcamp Fridays, first Friday of each month, I think through May of 2021. All of the proceeds go to the artist directly. So if you spend $10 on a Buke Gase record on a Bandcamp Friday, they get all $10. So great way to support artists directly. Buy music through Bandcamp. Check out Scholars Alliance. Thank you, Brassland, for getting this interview set up. Thank you, Aaron and Aaron, for all of your time.
Thank you.
Really
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
so much. Yeah, this has been fun. Thanks for all the questions, everybody. And have a good day. Keep your head up.
Yeah.
Keep your chins up.
Let's get through 2021.
Let's thrive.
Let's thrive. All right, we're gonna close with let's close with Hold It In. Sound good?
Yeah, let's hold it all in.
All right. Thank you